Ladies and gents, welcome back. I'm coming in on a sick day to do this video, but I needed to get this information out there. The lawyer for Freedom Corp, the organization surrounding the convoy organizers that were in Ottawa back in 2022 in February, was kicked out of the commission yesterday. And later he was brought back in, but he was kicked out for a time. And we can see footage of that here as security was taking him out of the building at the request of Commissioner Rouleau in this case. Now, a little bit of background on what was going on there, and apologies for my voice. It just is what it is. But there was Minister Mendicino was actually taking the stand. He was testifying. And one of the things that's been brought up, and it's been that the government's been dropping documents, lots and lots and lots of documents that are relevant to this case, but dropping them last minute and not giving the parties that have standing a lot of time to look through this. Now, a bit came through where there was redactions that were unnecessary or unlawful redactions. Redactions would be for individuals that are part of the cabinet. Now, the redactions were made on documents showing communications between Mendicino and his staffers. The staffers are not protected by cabinet confidence. So this is a motion that they put forward to have the redactions removed. And it just so happened that a person who was in communications was in the room at the time. So Brendan Miller made a verbal request, an oral request, I guess, to have that staffer be subpoenaed at the moment to have them testify as to what was being said, and it would have saved a lot of time. And that was the main point that was going on there. Now, here's a bit of video footage of what was actually happening in the room at the time.
The commission is reconvened. La commission reprend.
Sir, okay, the Commission Counsel has not completed her
I understand,
presentation.
but sir, and your counsel's advised you that,
No,
I know you've directed, you wanted the
I'm sorry,
application.
I'm speaking.
Yes, sir.
The application, if you want to do it, you've been advised it's to be done in writing, not in the middle of the
Sir, we
presentation.
filed two motions in
So
writing at your
I'm
direction that
sorry.
you've refused to rule on with respect to the redaction
you're-
of documents from the government of Canada.
You're
That
speaking,
has
I'm
not been
speaking.
ruled on, and they've been
Okay.
filed for days.
I will take a break while you're asked to
Sir?
leave. I will return in 5 minutes if security could deal with the council.
Commission is in recess. La commission est levée.
And that's what led to that. So he was removed, and we saw the footage there of him being removed. Now he went and he spoke to the press on the outside of the building. Before we get to that, I just wanted to get to and I've been following other people who are following this case. Now the Canadian Constitution Canadian Constitution Foundation has been doing daily updates with Christine Van Geyn, and she gave her point of view in this video here. And of course, I'll leave the whole video in the description down below so you can watch it in its entirety. But this is her just take on this particular moment in time.
So Miller gets up right before their morning break, and he asks that Alex Cohen, sitting right in front of me, be required to testify. This young man in his
Alex Cohen being the staffer of Marco Mendicino.
20s, probably there staffing his boss, not expecting this to happen. So Rouleau says he's not going to hear motions orally like this. So Mr. Miller asks him to decide after the morning break. Let us know when he comes back. So we take the break. Alex puts his coat on and runs out the door. This was obviously, I would assume, a huge shock to him. So then we come back. Alex is gone, and Miller is up at the podium, and he asks about this motion to compel Alex to testify, even though Alex is at that point gone. It got really heated. And if you haven't seen the video, watch it, because I'm not going to do it justice. But Rouleau says he's not going to hear a motion orally like this. It has to be in writing. Miller keeps interjecting and interrupting, and Rouleau tells him to stop interrupting. Miller keeps interrupting, and Rouleau says we're taking 5-minute breaks so Miller can be removed. Miller goes back to his desk. security is just kind of standing there. I can actually hear security talking as they're standing around me, saying they need to confirm if they actually have to remove Miller because they don't really know what's going on either. Then security comes back, they go up to Miller and they escort him out. And my understanding is that Miller goes outside and he does some interviews with media. So a few of my thoughts, sorry, excuse my cough.
I got the same
Miller
thing.
has been pretty effective on some of his cross-examinations. And I also think he has come across in a lot of his appearances as a pretty likable guy. But continuing to interrupt a judge is not professional, is not appropriate, and is not effective, is not good for your clients. There are all kinds of ways that Miller could have raised his concerns about these privilege claims, which in fact the Convoy's other lawyer, Keith Wilson, did raise after the morning break. And Rouleau said when those were raised, he said, if it had been raised like this, I would have dealt with it in a different way. And Rouleau did say when Keith Wilson brought this up, he said he would provide a ruling on those privilege claims right after lunch, which he did. And in fact, some of them, the claims over staff communication in particular, ended up having those redactions removed. So this whole big drama was unnecessary and actually did a bunch of damage.
Okay, well, I'll leave it there, and you can go click the link in the description down below and check out the Canadian Constitution Foundation and their videos, video updates. Christine Van Geyn does a great job. I'm hoping to bring her on here to have a conversation with her about the inquiry here. Now, Brendan Miller went on to go speak with media outside of this event, and we'll show a little bit of that.
The Commission consistently directs that we are to make motions in writing. So we do so. We currently have two outstanding. The first is dealing with all of these redactions that the Government of Canada has put on all of the staffers' correspondence, as well as the notes of Ms. Katie Telford, the Chief of Staff to the Prime Minister. They have redacted these documents claiming they are irrelevant, or that they are in fact subject to a cabinet confidence, despite the fact that the law is abundantly clear and undeniably clear that cabinet confidence does not apply to political staffers. These include the notes of Sarah Jackson, who is the office manager of Katie Telford, discussing the Emergencies Act, discussing the protest, discussing what they're going to do. These include the email responses from Minister Blair to his own Chief of Staff about why he did not accept the advice of law enforcement to carry out the plan that was before the IRG. The Government of Canada has continuously and every day dropped hundreds of documents on the parties, and the parties are frustrated. It is not just myself. They have tried to turn this entire proceeding into an inquiry about the failures of Chief Slawley, as opposed to actually about the invocation of the Emergencies Act. And my duty to my clients, and my duty as a lawyer, is to uncover the truth. We have also applied, and we applied before I asked the questions with respect to Mr. Brian Fox, to have him compelled as a witness. And we did that in writing. We applied to also now have Mr., I believe it's David Chan, who we found out was the individual who actually took the photos of the gentleman carrying the Confederate flag, of which he is also the photographer for the Prime Minister.
David Chan's not the right.
Well, I would disagree with you if you have you have an official
Okay, so they get into an argument here. Now the allegations being made here is that David Chan, being the photographer of the Prime Minister, I don't believe that's the case. I believe that was Adam Scotty, who was also actually. People are alleging that this man seen in this photograph here is David Scotty, and well, he was the Prime Minister's personal photographer. This is the case here. But, well, I mean, it would take more than just a photograph to prove that. Now, we don't know all the evidence as the public. We don't know what they have as well. They have a witness that came forward and said that they saw the Brian Fox guy as being the man with the Nazi flag. And they have a witness to that. Now we have this video here, and this shows that like just how dubious this Confederate flag incident was. So just pause, have a look at this here. Like, do you think this guy is actually there for the Freedom Convoy, wearing a balaclava and sunglasses and hooded and covered in all of this? Now the guy was only there for a brief moment in time. And then he left. He was no longer there, and he's been cited in all kinds of articles and conversation pieces. He was even cited by, well, none other than
next week,
Marco Mendicino in this interview with CBC.
Absolutely right, and I think that we have already seen, as I said, some expressions which fall very much into the category of extremism. The flying of Confederate flags. Some of the placards that are calling for the overthrow of the government through violence, and so we have
like this is all just a narrative that they were putting together at the time. Now I'm going into some other territories, but let's just, for the sake of this video and being fair to the truth, we have a cease and desist order aimed at Brendan Miller from, and this is from Enterprise Canada, and this is saying, stop saying this. We are a counsel to Enterprise Canada and Brian Fox. Yesterday, you made highly defamatory statements to the media during proceedings of the Public Order Emergency Commission, falsely and maliciously accusing Brian Fox of holding the Nazi flag during the Freedom Convoy protests in Ottawa. And then goes on to say that, he has an alibi. He's got an out. He wasn't there. But that's it. So it's claims versus claims. There's inclinings, people saying that there's going to be a lawsuit. However, there is protections for lawyers in a proceeding to bring evidence, and that's not libel. There's protections for that, for the case of lawyers being able to do their job without worrying about impending lawsuits because of what they bring forward. Anyway, I don't have much of a voice left. Thank you for watching this video. Leave a comment in the comment section down below. Let me know what you think of the whole scenario. Was Brendan Miller out of line for talking in the way he was? Was it justified kicking him out? Was he doing a good job? Was he actually speaking truth to power? Let me know in the comment section down below. Hopefully we get more information on this coming up. I think I have access to talk to Keith Wilson. Hopefully that brings more stuff to light, and we'll see what's going on with that. Anyway, we'll see you in the next one. Keep on trucking.